Buddy, it's Shep. It's July 8th and going to share the setups that I'm eyeing for tomorrow. Quite a decent amount on my list today. My list today is a lot bigger than it has been the last few days. Been just sitting comfortably in these active positions over here on the right, on the top. And yeah, but today things are starting to look a little bit more interesting. We had the Qs and the SPY kind of putting in some bullish reactions at some pretty key spots. So let's dive into these setups. So to start, we got Klarna Group. This one hasn't been really a leading stock by any stretch of the imagination. We see over here the weekly relative strength is just starting to kind of get above its the moving average here. So it's obviously this isn't a leader, but I do like the sector strength. XLF has been quite strong. This is within that financial sector ETF. And basically what I like is the daily ADX is in a nice above 25 uptrend. On the pullback, we've seen it decline, which tells us that the selling lacks integrity. So it could be a good buying opportunity at key areas. So we see we've traded into the previous area of resistance here. Could turn into support. We got a nice bullish hammer there today, also at the 20-day SMA. It looks good. I'm willing to take a shot at this long above Wednesday's high, stop below Wednesday's low. Heading over to DDOG, Datadog. I'm already pretty heavily long software stocks, but this is still catching my attention. We have a nice weekly uptrend with strong weekly ADX, strong weekly relative strength. We see on the daily a nice daily relative strength. And basically, we've had this big move up and then we kind of bull flagged over here. So we put in a high, higher low, lower high. But now tomorrow I'm looking at this as, is this a higher low in like a little mini bull flag? And this could be a nice opportunity to get long before this breaks out to new all-time highs, because this right here is the current all-time high. So that one looks pretty good. CRDO, very interesting look to me. It had some really heavy selling here 2 weeks ago, very high volume on the weekly bar. It was like an oops on the weekly. We still have nice weekly relative strength. The weekly ADX is in an uptrend. Last week's bar got pretty low volume, so I kind of like the looks of that. It's kind of starting to tighten up here. And then we kind of got this, what looks like to be today, confirmed a higher low. So we got a low, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So this thing looks pretty good for a, couldn't break out. I'll draw a little trend line on here. Could you get a little breakout here above this and then continue on to new all-time highs is kind of what I'm looking for here on this one. SEDG, I like the look of this. This is kind of different. It's outlier. Most of the stuff on my list here is tech related and healthcare related, and then one finance. So this is a SEDG. They have something to do with renewable energy production. But I like the look on the weekly. So we've got a nice weekly ADX uptrend. This bullish move here had a nice rise in ADX. So the bulls have integrity on the way up, and on the way down the ADX is declining. So this tells us that this selling lacks integrity. It's occurring also drifting into this previous area of resistance, could become support. We also see this rising 20-week moving average, which is the equivalent to the roughly the 100-day moving average. And then this is what I really like about this setup in particular is we see 2 weeks ago the bulls put, or 3 weeks ago the bulls put in this kind of this swing low here. Now what we've done is we come and undercut that low. So this is a nice little undercut and rally. And then also what I like about it is that with that undercut of that low, we have also undercut the 100-day moving average. So the bulls really stepped up here at a key time when they really needed to. I also like the volume profile. So we've had this big decline, but we see it's been on really low volume. There's been no above average volume selling days. In fact, we've had a couple pocket pivots. We've had a 5-day pocket pivot, and then we've had one 10-day pocket pivot, and this pocket pivot was above average. So this seems to be there seems to be some buying going on here behind the scenes, and I like the way this is setting up, framing risk off of this undercut of this low, so we can get a 9.56% stop on a 9.93% ADR stock. This thing has been putting in higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows on the weekly. So if that continues that trend, that could at least rally up to 80. So you could buy this today or tomorrow for around $52, and get a rally up to at least 80, maybe 90 or 100. That's a really nice looking trade. One of my favorite ones is SEDG. ALAB. So this is the Basically, the only semiconductor that I'm really super interested in. So we got weekly strong ADX, so strong integrity in that trend. Strong weekly relative strength, daily relative strength is strong. So then on the daily chart, we see we've come down to this. We're underneath the 20-day MA, but we're kind of in that general area. Um, we've kind of undercut the previous 2 weeks of lows. And then today the bulls put in a bullish bar and it was an inside bar on very low volume. So that kind of that volume dry up at a relatively key level. I also like the relative strength of ALAB compared to other stocks in this general semiconductor basket, which have been slammed down pretty hard to the 50. They've also been really choppy. Like while ALAB was grinding up, things like, well, let's take a look at ARM. Let's look at what ARM did. Um, ARM, has been really choppy, or MU has been pretty volatile, whereas ALAB's been kind of just generally a bit more steady, a steady hand, a steady move up. So I like the look of that. I've got ARM on my list. I may even take it off just because you got stock like ALAB that's holding up near its 20. It's much more impressive looking to me. So, I'm watching this one though. It undercut this low. It's in and around the 50-day moving average, strong relative strength on both time frames. All the things that I look for. Also the volume profile. The drift down here has been generally on low volume. Like look at all this volume dry up on ARM. So that's a pretty good look. I might take this one tomorrow, not sure yet. Cisco looks nice just because the nature in which it's drifted into its 50-day moving average. So we see nice weekly ADX up strength on the up move, and then on the down move here, we've seen the ADX declining. Worth noting is the ADX on the daily, the negative DMI is above the positive DMI, and this ADX starting to pick up over 25. So that's not great. That shows there is some momentum for the bears here. So I still think it may be worth a shot. I don't know. It's not. I don't like this one near as much as ALAB. ALAB's kind of one of my favorites for these tech sector setups. APPS, digital turbines. So we got really nice weekly trend integrity. So weekly ADX is increasing. Several weekly pocket pivots there. Nice, really strong on balance volume. Good weekly relative strength. Over here on the daily, we see we've pulled back, and the volume has been relatively controlled. There is a pretty heavy distribution count over the last 25 bars, so that's not great, but we see the up down volume count is or ratio is very, very much in favor of the bulls. So basically, we traded into this 2-month anchored VWAP, this teal line, down into this previous area of resistance, which could become support. So this one looks likely worth a shot to buy above Wednesday's high, stop below Wednesday's low. The remaining three here, these are all related to the healthcare sector. I've been trying to find a way into Lily and Oscar, but they haven't really given me anything. But these looked interesting to me today. So again, strong weekly ADX uptrend, strong on balance volume, strong relative strength. We're trading down into this previous area of resistance. On the daily, really nice relative strength. We see that daily still has really strong ADX uptrend. And then today we put in this bullish hammer down into this previous area of resistance. So if this is going to keep going, this is a reasonable place to think it could do so. And we do have some proof of the buyer stepping in here with the daily bar looking like that. VCYT, Verisight. Again, weekly looks pretty good. Strong weekly ADX. The on-balance volume divergence isn't a great sign, so we've made a higher high, and the on-balance volume failed to make a higher high, but still, we do have relative strength on the weekly. So we're trading down into this previous area of resistance on the daily. We've had this pullback on declining ADX and volume relatively drying up. No heavy selling going on here, and a nice daily relative strength uptrend. So we did get this gap down and Larry Williams oops buy right at the 20 in that previous area of resistance. So this one looks pretty good. This is the second time it's tested its 20. We see the last time it happened right here. It gave a good buy opportunity right here. This time it's given a bullish bar right at the 20. Looks like a good setup. And then last here is AMRX, Amneal Pharmaceutical. So nice weekly ADX uptrend, strong on balance volume, strong weekly relative strength. On the daily, we've got this low ADX or declining ADX pullback, so the bears do not have integrity on this down move. And then on top of that, we got this nice bullish hammer candle right into the 20 SMA, which is confirming the presence of buyers. This gives us a clear level to place our stop and base our risk off of this. And as we could see also, since it's had this big move up where it went up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up close weeks in a row, this is the first time it's tested that 20. So logically, if this stock is going to continue going up, and this is kind of the breather that it's taken last week's inside bar, and then now trading down into the into the 20 MA, this is a perfect place to try to get involved in this stock, which looks like it could keep ripping. It's looking at zooming out here. It's it's been a lot higher in the past. It doesn't mean a whole lot, but just the trend integrity is strong, and this is a good place to perhaps get involved in this. It's got nice sector tailwind, so that's what I'm looking at for tomorrow. We'll see how things shake out with the Middle East developments over the night, and see how that impacts these setups into the morning. Curious to hear what you guys are looking at too, and if you have any thoughts on my setups here, feel free to drop a comment. All right, hope your week's going good, guys. Appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.